Hello, 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 and welcome back to The 12. This is a show about the Women's Super League, aka the highest division of women's football in England. We're here to discuss all things WSL, both on and off the field. Each week, we'll be breaking down games, showcasing stars, and highlighting important stories surrounding the game. My name is Deepti, and I'm here with my co hosts today, Mark and Treb. And this week, it's about showing me the money. We're going to start with money talks today. And there's two different stories that we want to talk about. Both are not specific to WSL, but involve WSL players. We'll start with, if you guys know, we've talked about the new FIFA Women's Champions Cup has been happening. It's a very small tournament with just like four of the champions across the world in different leagues. And so, like, Arsenal was in it, Gotham, Corinthians from Brazil, and AS Far Rabat, the Asian delegation team. And there's this competition. There's like the semifinal, and the final is happening this weekend. But there have been some complaints, and complaints about who is hosting. So it's being hosted in London, which means Arsenal is at home, and the other teams have had to travel. And some of them don't like that. So, Mark, I'm going to pass it on to you. Give us a quick rundown, and then your thoughts on like this situation.
Well, actually, so to be fair, I didn't see this news myself, but from my understanding, I guess Gotham FC players were maybe not happy about, uh, I guess, the fact that they had to travel, and then the fact that it's being hosted by one of the teams involved in the competition. Um, and so, I guess amongst other things, in terms of maybe the I guess the integrity of the competition, if you're making that argument. There's also the issue of the prize money, and essentially um, the I guess the cost of travel, the cost of lodging and all that. Which it's funny, like in the men's game, that's something you would literally not even think about because it's all covered, right? Like it's all within a team's budget. But then like that because of the revenues in the women's game, like, and the budgets that the women's teams are generally working with, like that is like a bigger part of their budget that they have to consider, right? I know it's a quick tangent, but like, we're all WNBA fans, so we're all familiar with the whole private jet scandals, or charter flight scandal, I should say, scandals, right? So um, but yeah, I guess it's those are all like very real, like real world financial considerations, and I guess that's where these complaints stem from. Um, I mean, I'll just say this, like it was always, first of all, it was always going to be hosted by either Arsenal or Gotham, realistically. Like, or basically, it was either going to be in London or in New York, right? Like, they weren't going to consider a place outside of FIFA, wasn't going to consider a place outside of that realistically. And Arsenal in the middle of their schedule, right? Like, they're actually at a very important and kind of hectic part of their schedule. And so I actually just find all this interesting, just from a neutral perspective. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes all this, especially with the timing of this competition, it makes all the sense in the world that it's in London. But yeah, that was, I guess that was something that came out in the midst of this competition happening.
Yeah, like you said, FIFA also came out and was like, okay, we chose London based on many factors. Like, we're not trying to be favorites to anyone, but like just logistically, it does make sense because Arsenal's the only or team within the Ford to be like mid-season at the moment. So it doesn't make sense to have them travel so far elsewhere when the others are still preseason and can come in quite easily. Easily, again, it's like it is a financial burden maybe to some. Um, One good thing though, I guess, like, so financially speaking, yes, they have to like pay for like cost of travel and like staying there and whatnot, but For a four-team competition, the prize pot is $2.4 million or 1.7 million pounds. Um, and I guess that's maybe not just for the four teams. I'm not sure how it's actually distributed because I think there were some games prior to the semifinals. Um, However, people still feel like that's not enough, and there is still like a significant advantage afforded to Arsenal just because of like logistics and whatnot. We don't have to get super into that. I think it's like it's always tough to do these intercontinental competitions anyway, just because teams are at different points of the season. So like it's not a true what do you call it, like gauge of which team maybe is better than others. We'll talk about the match later, but like the Gotham Corinthians match had some people mad afterwards, and it was a very preseason match, right? And so that's one aspect, but I do think it's good. You know, FIFA has put in money into this tournament, and that's been really welcome. Um, that's not true elsewhere in the world. Uh, so, like, remember these numbers: 2.4 million prize pot for like just this club tournament. Then we're going to jump to a continental tournament, which is the Asian Cup, and the Asia Cup happens in March, and it's the world's like longest running, I think, female or women's soccer continental competition. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there have
50th
been
year anniversary is
complaints.
being celebrated this year.
Yeah, 50th anniversary of this year, and there have been complaints about the lack of prize money because what we have found out is that in 2022 was the first time that they were awarded prize money, and there was a $1.8 million prize pot for just the top four teams. Um, and they're not increasing that for this year. They're not changing that. I don't know if any teams below the top four get any sort of prize money. From what they've said, it doesn't seem like it.
I would assume
And
not. I mean, like,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
no, no, go ahead.
No, the fact that it's 1.8 million US dollars, right? Keep in mind, dollars are worth less than pounds. For the top four teams. So this makes it now the oldest women's national team competition is now the lowest paying national women's team competition. Um, and like I was just looking back at the numbers. So for the Champions Cup, the winner gets $2.3 million. I I'm not able to verify if the others get prize money, but honestly, I would assume they would, right? Like just to for I mean for these other teams to like to travel to London and so on, I think it's only fair that they get prize money, right? Like
They get something, yeah.
um yeah, so I'm gonna assume that's the case. And so yeah, like wow, you know what I mean? Like that's just so wild, especially with um this competition being in Australia. The I'll read you the opening paragraph of by Samantha Lewis in the Guardian on this story. It has been billed as the most successful women's Asian Cup to date. Yet prize money at the upcoming tournament in Australia will not increase from what was offered by the AFC 4 years ago. So I mean, like to me, one of the main reasons why you know put make these investments in these tournaments and like go through all of this to market it right like we've I mean for me personally I feel like I've heard more about this upcoming tournament than previous editions right I'm
Hmm.
certainly like paying more attention to women's soccer in general now, like, you know, covering the WSL, you kind of end up like covering a lot of things, right? I think it's something that we've learned. But yeah, like it feels like there's just a lot of emphasis to market this and make this work. And I mean, it seems like that's working, but then where's the money going? Like, why is it not going to the players? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the prize money is so important in the women's game because women in terms of salary make a fraction of what the men do. It just is what it is.
Hmm.
And the point I've always made about prize money specifically is that because it's coming from the organization, it shouldn't matter whether the women or men made that money, right? So for comparison's sake, right, the men's a the men's Asian Cup in 2023, the most recent edition, $14.8 million was allocated to the cup, with all 24 teams awarded a separate participation fee of $200,000. Like, you could easily pay all of these teams. Like, even if you don't pay them 200, I'm talking about the women's uh participating teams, right? Even if you don't pay them the same 200,000, you could easily pay them 50,000. You could easily pay them 75,000, and that would make a big difference. It's just frustrating to me because it's like you have the money in the pot, like it's all going to the same pot. I don't sorry. There's so much more I want to say. I want to let Trev and you guys talk, but there's just so much more I could say about this because it just annoys the hell out of me.
No, I mean you can say it. I mean, I rant a lot on this show. You know what I mean? Like I welcome anybody who feels that strongly to talk about it because I mean, there's nothing left to say, right? Like you're mirroring a lot of it. I think it's crazy that they are so far below, and like especially when you see some of these other, like we talked about with the, I always forget the name of the new one, the Concacaf, or not the, I guess it's like what is it, the FIFA Women's Champions Cup, the one that Arsenal in
The
right now. Like
women's
yeah, like that is a
oh the
small tournament.
current one,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like already
Yeah.
starting at 2.4, 2.8 million. So, and that's only going to grow as, more teams get involved and that gets fleshed out. And you have the men's side getting, I mean, what is like so many much more times that, and I hardly hear about the men's side of that competition, right? Like I think with the men's side, you hear outside of the World Cup, like I think one of the more popular tournaments is AFCON, like that we just had. Um, so like for this Asian Cup to be in its 50th anniversary and to not get any boost of any kind of prize money is wild, especially as someone who has like obviously this is like a bit of a biased take, but like especially someone who supports Arsenal, who we are going to lose 3 to 4 of our most important players to this Asian Cup, and I kind of just feel like,
Mhm.
why? Like if this is what they're like, I know players are going to be competitive, I know all that, like people want to have the bragging rights and everything, that's nice, but you know what's really also nice? Like a lot of money. And if you're not competing for a lot of money, why are we sending you out when we have competitions that are worth a lot of money? Like we have the WSL championship still mathematically possible, we have Champions League, very much possible, we have FA Cup, very much possible, and all of these competitions each pay a significantly more amount of money. And it's going to hurt Arsenal, and then we're going to just watch our players possibly risk injury in a tournament that probably doesn't even cover the health costs of any said injury that may or may not happen. So it's definitely frustrating because it's just like in an era where so many other tournament, like in this era of soccer where the powers that be are saying we want more, we want more tournaments, we want more games, we want more people to watch so that we executives can make a shit ton more money. Like you are now not spreading that money out to the players who are competing, and you're going to have a tournament like this where my question is going to be, is it even worth playing? Because again, like why are we sending our players out to risk injury, to detract and make us a weaker team in other competitions that pay significantly more, that ends up going back to the players for a tournament that is still stuck where they were 50 years ago when they started, right? So it's like you have to get it together, you have to pay more. Like this is the whole point of it. I mean, like we talk about here in America with our NBA, that was a big fight against them kind of having their little, what do they call it, the NBA Cup, their mid-season tournament, right?
Mhm.
It was just like, well, make it worth playing for, because why do we have this tournament if you're going to give us like $400,000? You know what I mean? Like league minimum is 2 times that. Like make this a $2-3 million prize pool, and then maybe we'll be motivated to do something, right? And in this era of sports, like that's what it's going to take. And so especially on the women's side, like you're your prize money doesn't cover probably travel. It doesn't cover the cost of like if you get hurt. Like it's just it is a paltry sum to be competing for. And then to want to claim like this tournament is important. Like, is it really important? Because I would rather just have my players stay at Arsenal and prepare for the 2027 World Cup, which is, you know, just over a year away.
I make more money doing
Yeah.
that.
That's crazy. You make more money
Well,
than that?
that's
That's
one of
actually
the
crazy.
things you guys were like comparing money or the prize money to the men's sides. Like if you just Mark, you said this is the lowest paying competition in like all the women's continental like national competitions. So I just looked it up. So for WAFCON, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, they also are gonna. I think theirs is in March as well. They're just a couple weeks apart from the Asia Cup, but the winner gets 1 million US dollars, and then it goes down from there. And like the total prize pool for that is about $3.5 million, which is a significant increase from like the last WAFCON. Um, the Euros are like way more, and so they're just significantly off from like what the other continents are doing. UEFA has a lot of money, obviously, so like the Euro prize pot is going to be a lot. They had a 41 million euro prize pot, and I think the winner got 5
That's why they
million
care about the
euros. I'm
Euro.
trying to
That's why
find the
the
exact
Euros is so
number,
popular.
but that's why yeah.
That's why people be, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying?
the
That
plus like there was the participation fee that we talked about that was like close to 2 million euros or something like that. So just participating, just being in it, that's why teams care so much about it, like you just said, Treb. And like obviously players have such national pride and they want to just represent
yeah.
their country on the international stage. But for competitions like this, where there's not like a monetary incentive, also, you're going to lose some of that. You're going to lose some of your like big stars or like the motivation to even want to like do well. Now, I'm not sure if this competition like has anything to do with World Cup qualification, or if I
I
think
was
that's
gonna ask
separate.
that. I was about to say, now does it at least matter for quality? Because if you're talking about you're paying me a disgustingly low amount of money on top of the fact that these don't even matter for qualifying for the World Cup, then why am I really here? Because again, like you are a year and a half away from the Women's World Cup, and any like this is that time frame where players start thinking like I have to be careful because any significant injury could put me in a position where I'm not representing my country in the biggest tournament that we have. You know what I mean? So it's like
Okay, so
again,
just quickly
what's the
looked it up, and I
motivation?
think it does.
Okay, well then
So the
that's
Asia Cup, it says, will serve as a qualifying competition to determine the representatives at the World Cup. So they were just using that as like motivate, which obviously is a big incentive. But you need to start paying them. Like pay, that's always been the talk about like women's sports and women's soccer is just pay them. You have the money. Stop making this excuse of like, oh, they're not bringing in enough revenue, yada yada. What like pay them, invest in it, and just yeah, like even like you said, like if the men's side is bringing in more of the revenue, share it. Like you're part of the same confederation. You're part of the same. Like it's the same country. You have the same fans. Just do it. Like you have the money.
you think people would you'd be like
Yeah.
I want people to watch. I mean, look, it takes money to make money, and like you said, look at the Euros. Like UEFA's like, okay, we're gonna make the prize pool $41 million, and look at how popular the Euros are every summer. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was at when the Euros were going on, I was at an Angel City event where they were introducing players and new signings, and they have the TVs onto the Euros, and people are like stuck to the like watching the Euros because it's like great games, players are going for it, everyone's playing hard, and that helps bring in more money when it's like okay cool, like it's a $40 million prize pot, we've invested in the production for this, we've invested in the marketing, and now look, now we're making back 80, 90, $100 million in TV revenue and in viewership because a lot of people are watching it because we've made sure to make it interesting. And I think WAFCON is doing the same thing where they're slowly increasing because you also see that their counterpart AFCON is becoming an even more popular tournament, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just
Mm-hmm.
like as these things grow, like DP said, like you're part of the same confederation, you're part of the same group of countries. You would want everyone to watch your countries, whether it's the women's side, the men's side, like you want that attention because it's only going to bring in more money. Like you need the investment to get the return. And if you're not putting in the investment, like you're not gonna get what you want. And so like it's crazy. They it's crazy. They have the money. Executives have the money. Like these confederations have the money. Make it better. Because no one's saying you have to make a $50 million prize pool, but like you can easily make it like a $10 million prize pool.
Easily.
Yeah.
I think that's a very achievable number.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
like
like
like the point you were making about like it's all the same country. um Canada certainly treated it as such with the 2015 World Cup and how much money that brought in. I mean, it's been reported that that money saved the Canadian Soccer Federation. And look how much strides the men's team has made, how much progress the men's team has made. That's in large part because of their women's team, which has been good for a long time, like before the men, quite frankly, and that World Cup that brought in so much money. And so it's just like, you see that inconsistency, right? When the women's tournament, when the women's teams, we know how well the women's team, the U.S. women's national team, sells in the U.S., especially compared to the men. Like, you think they're just keeping that money that they make on the women's side? No. Like, they're using it for the whole federation. So, like, like I said, like we've all been saying, like it all goes to the same pot, right? Like we make this point on the club side as well, right? Like we see the clubs that want to invest in their women's teams want them to be good. You think Arsenal was making money in the early days? Not really. Like you think Chelsea when they first started investing were making money when pre Kings Meadow? No, like they weren't. Like, but even as I've talked about before, even Russian oil oligarch Roman Abramovich spoke at length about why women's football was an important strategy for them, even
Hmm.
though it wasn't making money right then. He saw the long term, vision of it, and so like it's just invest. Like you can't expect it to grow without investment.
Yeah.
now's the best time.
And
I
we're
mean, I
going to
said
leave
it
it
before,
there
right?
because
Like
we can.
yeah, because like I said, like, Trinity Rodman is the highest paid women's player on the earth, and it's only $2 million. Like that is the cost of a 15-year-old on the men's side. Like, what are we doing? like it's not that hard. Like, invest money,
There
please.
even more. Gosh. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We can rant on and on about this, and we have. You look at previous episodes; we've talked about it too. So it's like it's until something changes, we're gonna keep talking about it. We'll talk about results from the weekend. Um, let's do WSL first, and then Champions Cup. Like I mentioned, we had those two semifinals. So league games. We will start. Well, first, our prediction game, score wise. We have Mark with 30 points, Tom at 31, Treb with 33, and me at 39. So we've all surpassed the 30 mark. Good job.
I'm in second
um,
now. You see how fast that
and
changes? Look at that.
it does. It changes fast. So, and I think you're going to get a few more this time, this week, catch up a bit. We'll start with Everton versus Brighton. Brighton won 1-0 away at Everton. And people are calling for Brian Sorensen to get sacked. People were calling for Sorensen to get sacked before. And then they kind of had like they were getting some points, maybe played a little bit better. And then now this. I didn't actually watch this match. So, Mark, it's all you.
Let me just start off by saying, you see how Sonia Bonpastor's terrorism affects other people? Everton got that win
I
versus
was
Chelsea, and Sorensen
Mark's team saved his job.
Sorensen saved his job with a win over Chelsea at Kings Meadow. Anyway, yeah, Brighton, like playing at Everton moved into Goodison Park, right? There was a big deal about that. And the home form has been awful. Believe that's now 5 or 6 in a row that they've lost at home. And yeah, it continues. Brighton comes in with the 1-0. Um, basically, this was a masterclass by Andozie. She was the player of the match according to FotMob, and I think rightfully so. there was one particular moment. I can't remember which half it was, but she tried to play out the back. It didn't go well, as we've often seen. But she, to her credit, scrambled across and got across and made that save. She also made a point blank save from, I think, Pacheco, or yeah. Um, but yeah, and Dozier, had a, kind of, I guess we would say, like, classic performance from her. It's kind of what we expect, or what we've at least seen quite a bit. And Kankovic at the end of the first half was the goal scorer. I think it was Kiko. Yeah, Kiko Seike dribbled down the right flank. Kind of was allowed to come into the box, without being confronted, and had time to pick out Kankovic. And yeah, it was basically a tap in. And beyond that, there weren't much chances in this match. According to FOTMob, neither team reached 1 goal XG. So those saves from, like, Endozie, really, like, between her and Kankovic, like, they basically share those points. Like, but we've talked also at length about Brighton and how we expected more from them this season. And so at least, they get the win. Also, as we're talking about Brighton, we learned since the last time we recorded that, oh man, I always get his name wrong. Let me make sure I get his name right. Yes, Dario Vidosic, his father, who is part of his coaching staff, sadly passed away. I think we had heard something about Dario taking some time away from the team before, right? Like, but yeah. So obviously, we that was the reason. And I can't imagine, you know, what was on his mind and so forth. It's not only, like, obviously losing your father, but losing someone who I imagine has been coaching beside him for years now. So
Mhm.
um, that's just wanted to make mention of that. But yeah, great win for Brighton. Much needed 3 points. They're now up to. So I think they've been at six at the table for a while, but they're a point over Aston Villa. So yeah, I think this is about where we expect. I guess there's still time for them to close the gap between them and Tottenham. But yeah, maybe this is a step in the right direction for them. But for Everton, and specifically Brian Sorensen, buddy, that seat is warm. I'm actually a little surprised that he wasn't fired. They were booed at the end of this match. Like, this is not what people expected when
No.
Everton moved to Goodison. So he might be coaching for his
And
job this weekend.
we mentioned this before we started recording, but this, like, Everton's only won 2 matches this season. One was to Chelsea, and the other one was the very first match in the Merseyside derby against Liverpool, when they, like, thrashed Liverpool and were like, "Oh, Everton, the team to, like, they're gonna come out, like, on fire." And no, they're they're in a relegation. They're, well, not that there's a relegation, but they're in battle for that last spot. They are 1 point ahead of Liverpool at the moment.
The playoff spot
Wild.
race. Yeah. Not automatic
Yeah.
relegation, but
So,
they'll be in the playoff
right.
if they don't get it together.
Yeah.
Down bad on the Merseyside.
Especially we'll
Uh,
get to that later, but especially on a weekend when Liverpool had their result.
exactly. Like, is there a tide turning in Merseyside? So we'll see. But before we get to the other side of Liverpool, we'll talk about the London derby that happened, Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
This is when it's 2v1 at the moment.
I feel bad. I feel
It's
bad.
like we're about to, like,
Without
yeah,
Tom, I
we'll be
also feel
nice,
like
but,
with
like,
Tom here it
not
might
too
be three
nice.
one because, like, Tom's also got vested interest in Chelsea losing. So really, nothing that would
Honestly.
have happened would have been in Mark's favor today.
But yeah, Arsenal went into Stamford Bridge, took over, won 2-0. And this was their first win away at Chelsea in a league match in 8 years. 8 years. Stamford Bridge is a different story. And actually, you said this was the first time that Chelsea's lost at
Lost at
Stamford Bridge,
Stamford Bridge.
correct?
We are the first team to ever beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Yes.
I want to say it was 11 wins and 11 prior to this.
Yeah. Prior to this, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Man.
I mean, yeah, they Trev, you can say most of it, but I was very pleased with this performance. Obviously, they dominated. We've talked about in the past how many of the like more recent Chelsea Arsenal matches have gone where it's like Arsenal should have won, and then they just didn't push it over the line or get it over the line or anything, or they like dominated all match and like it ended in a draw or like
Mm-hmm.
whatever, something
Mm-hmm.
happened, and finally everything went to plan. They played really well. You slandered Beth into scoring. Like everything. It was just bang, bang, bang. And then went in, took over, and got those 3 points.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, contrary to what anyone might think, I am an Arsenal fan, yes. I promise I love our team and I love our players. Yeah, like if you follow our socials, I made that video of like last week. I think I ran off the list of players I wouldn't care to see leave the club and talked about how Beth Mead has not done anything for us productively, and she goes out and snatches the the 1-0 lead at the time. It was so, as we said, Beth Mead got that first goal to make it 1-0. It was an excellent run from Kim Little, who I didn't really slander, but like I said, like she's, we asked how does it feel if Kim Little stays at the club? Like that's why, because she can still play. I still feel like, if she is your premier midfielder as she begins, to get more veteran status, I do think that's a problem. But this is why I'm happy to have her, because like in big moments, she does what she needs to do. She still has the talent. She makes an incredible run. She gets the pass off to Beth Mead, who gets it with space and puts on a great shot at an angle. Like it was a pretty good angle. Like it wasn't too tough, but it was a decent angle. Got the shot up,
Mm-hmm.
got it into the back of the net. And then for the second goal, we saw just it was prime Caldente, like Mariona
Mm-hmm.
moving around defenders in the middle of the box, just getting space, creating her shot, takes it, hits it. Like that's what we want to see as Arsenal fans. Like it was just a display of like this is us at our best. And I've said it before, even with the roster being as lacking as it is. And it also has to be said, we didn't have Leah Williamson that match. We didn't have Chloe Kelly that match. We didn't have Olivia Smith that match, who was serving the suspension. So I truly thought we would go in there and like best case scenario draw maybe, right? But again, like we've talked about how these matches tend to go, where Arsenal do well, they seem to dominate, and then a soft penalty to Lauren James, or we dominate and you know Myra Ramirez has a moment of brilliance, or someone has a moment of brilliance where they score a goal, right? And so with the players that Chelsea has, like it's just hard to think when you're going out that shorthanded that you're going to come away with the result at Stamford Bridge, and we haven't beaten them away in 8 years. So it just felt really good and really cathartic to have a match where we played our best and we got the result we deserved. 2-0. It was really professional. Um, but like that's us at our best. And I've said it before. Like I said it before the Barcelona match, and I still firmly believe it, even though our roster isn't where I want it to be. You take two teams in the world and you say like this team is playing a perfect game, no mistakes, against Arsenal, who's going to play a perfect game, no mistakes. I think we beat anybody on this planet. Like when we play our best, we are still like we are still the best team on this planet. Like we are, like we just are. And I don't know if that's because of the experience, the belief that we have in each other. Like this team, like when they turn it on, they turn it on. And the problem this year is just there's
Yeah.
been too many matches where we just moments of I don't want to call it laziness, but just like mental lapses. Like we talked about it before recording. Like the reason they're not in the WSL fight is literally because of a 3-game stretch in September where it was the scoreless draw against United in a match that was really like lethargic. It was the 1-1 draw against Villa in a match where Villa got that late corner at the very last second. The ball bounces around and they tap it in, and then you follow that with the loss to Man City, who again, last second, as time is winding down, the 18-year-old kid Benet comes on and she hits a screamer. I think it's still like only like what, maybe her only goal of the season, right? Because like she hasn't really seen that much time this year, but like these are the things that make or break the season, and it's really unfortunate that that's kind of how the league is, but that's just the way it is. And so it felt really really good to get that win. I skeeted it out on Blue Sky, and I'll say it here, like I think the title is still, we're mathematically in it, but I do think the title's done, unless this run that City has where they play Chelsea Sunday, and we'll get to that match, and then they play us the week right after. So, that 9-point lead could evaporate real quick, truly. But I do think that the league is probably done for Arsenal. I think more than anything, this win gives them the confidence they need, knowing that all you got to do is get past Leuven. And I think everyone expects that to happen in the Champions League. But you get past Leuven and you know who's next, and it's Chelsea, right? And I think now Arsenal go into that match saying, hey, last year at Champions League, we took down Real Madrid. We were down. We went into Olympique Lyonnais and we scored 4 on them. We went into Barcelona's backyard and we held them scoreless. Like, we do this, right? And now that you've beat them 2-0, you can go into that match and being like, look, we can beat them 2-0, maybe 3-0, maybe 3-1 at our house. And then the second leg, we go to Stamford Bridge and do it again. And now you have that confidence, you have that belief. And so, yeah, I think for that aspect, this was a huge win, because it was like, now you're setting yourself up for that success in Champions League, which again, like, I think that would be probably just as sweet as winning the whole thing last year, is just being able to knock off Chelsea early stages and be like, yeah, you're another year without Champions League, and we're the reason why, with a roster that is probably 4 times, 4 levels below yours. But again, it was just a great win. I love it. I can talk all day about it, but I'm not in a ranting mood today. I slandered Beth Mead to success. I'm gonna think about my next target when we talk about the Arsenal game coming up. I'll see who I can slander into some goal scoring. Maybe, I was gonna say Leicester Russo, but we'll talk about the Champions Cup. Like, she looked really good in that, so I'm saying I can't. I might not be able to slander her too much, but how you feeling, Mark? How did you enjoy the weekend?
Oh man. Oh, I was so few. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it honest with y'all in the audience. I When I saw the lineup, so mind you, of course, these matches are early for us in the US, and it's not, I don't have it as bad as Trev, but it's a 7:30 kickoff for me on a Saturday morning, right? And so when I woke up at 7 and I saw the lineup, I said, "You know what? I'll I'm not feeling this." So I went back to bed. I went back to sleep. Uh, and then I woke up at halftime, and it was exactly the score I expected, or at least we hadn't conceded. It was only 0-0, But I was like, yeah, of course we didn't score with Guro Wrighton in the starting lineup, and there's really like there's just so many issues. Well, there's three particular issues that I'll kind of focus on with this lineup, where I was like, "What the fuck were you thinking, Sonia?" First of all, Guru Wrighton, right? So including this match, between the Champions League and the league, she has played in 12 matches, but started only 3 of those, and she has 1 assist and no goals. Like, in the competitions that matter, Guru Wrighton hasn't done anything. I was shocked to see her in the starting lineup. And she gave, like, what she gave us was what we've seen in these competitions. 1 chance created, an expected assist of 0.01. She had no touches in the box. She had no passes into the final third. Like, that's your number 10. That's literally what her job is. What did she do? What and why? What is the logic of starting her over Lauren James? Because when Lauren James came in for her in the 56th minute, she had 3 chances created, two big chances created. I think the only shot on target that Chelsea had all game was from a through ball from Lauren James to Alyssa Thompson. Like, Lauren James comes on the field, Alyssa Thompson is like, oh, thank God, I have somebody who can
Mm-hmm.
fucking pass me the ball. I have somebody who could actually like play at my pace. Oh man. And and like Lauren James had touches in the box and passed in the final third. Like, I just don't understand why she won't play Lauren James and Sam Kerr together. Sam Kerr struggled. Like, Sam Kerr was apparently the worst player on the field according to Football.
Yikes.
7 of 12 passing, 17 touches total, 3 in the box, and uh, when Chelsea were attempting to play out early in the second half. Well, I think it was, when was that goal? Yeah, 55th minute, right? So yeah, Chelsea are attempting to play out. You know, Arsenal are like well on top at this point. Like, they've started like second half, like Arsenal were, you know, right on top of Chelsea. And they attempt to play out. Sam Kerr goes down. I didn't see much contact in the match, and what I did see of the match, I thought it was generally a well refed game. Like, you know, I think the ref was letting stuff go, but I thought that was consistent, and it was like the type of refing I want to see in general. Like, I don't want a ticky tack game, like game that's being broken up, like we see in Champions League, especially with Barcelona. Like, um, so I didn't mind. Like, I just thought Sam Kerr should have been stronger in that moment, from what I could tell. But yeah, I think it was Catley who won the ball back, which led to
Mm-hmm.
that goal. And then, so another part of this lineup that I was very confused by, when we saw the lineup and we saw Millie Bright, Naomi Girma, Lucy Bronze, we all just assumed that Millie Bright would be in the middle like she always is, and Girma on the left and Bronze on the right, right? Like, obviously you want your faster players in that back three on the outsides. So why was Millie Bright on the left? Like, and you know, when the giveaway happens, like Arsenal have a 4-on-3, right? Like, and they who was it, that was it Russo that made that pass to Beth Mead?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, on
I
the
think
Like,
so.
goal.
yeah.
Yeah, it was Russo that got the assist.
Yeah. So first of all, I think like DT, you kind of talked about like Russo in that number 10 role. Like, you know, I think
Mm-hmm.
we saw, you know, why how that works there. And but what I will also say is Millie Bright was acting like she came right to the middle. She was acting like she didn't have the left side to worry about. And so she tucks right in, and you could see it happen in slow motion. And I'm like, Millie, what are you doing? Beth is out. You have another player out there. At least get wide. Like, try to split the difference, right? At least try to, like, as a defender, you want to force the attacker to a difficult decision. But when you commit like that, you just make it easy. And so, like, yeah. And I don't know. Maybe she was just wanting to see her best friend score, because after the match, like, I don't know if y'all saw this, the whole love fest
I
between
saw it.
Millie
Yeah,
Bright and Beth Mead. I don't
What?
give a
I did not
fuck.
see that.
it
I don't
was
give a
it was a
fuck.
very lengthy like hug and smiles and it was
It
it
was
was like my
they did
bestie.
a they did
I
a
could see.
they
Yeah,
did a two-hand high five, a big hug. She was all like, "Oh my god, you played so well." I'm guessing. I'm
Yeah.
like, not only is this your opponent, you were literally defending on her side. What are you
She beat
doing?
you. Like what?
Oh, like,
Have some shame.
oh my God. Hey, you talked about players you wouldn't mind seeing the back of, Trev. Like, I definitely have a list, and I've already talked about two of them. Yeah, so that was nonsense. And then the second goal, I just don't understand how it happens. Like, is all I can say. Because Chelsea actually have the numbers, but like somehow Caldente drifts into a space, and like you have, I think it's
And no
Naomi
one
Gurm.
closes in.
no one. She
Well,
was wide open for a good 3 minutes, calling for the ball. Like,
she literally did this. She
She
please.
was just
literally
like,
was like,
Air traffic control. Yeah.
And it's at the top of the box. And like, yeah, Naomi Girma like comes over and she cuts her. I think she made like two cuts before she shot. But it was just but what I did see from the side angle, right? And another part of this lineup where I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Sonia? We essentially played with one central midfielder, which was Aaron Cuthbert. Vika Kaptein played in the center, but she absolutely should not. She's not a central midfielder, and I was actually afraid that this would happen because, like, the one of my things all season has been what happens beyond Cuthbert and Walsh, right? And so it's like you have Shia Nushkin, for example, right? Like she's theoretically a solid player, but since the end of last season, it seems like Nushkin's not really rated. Like I was kind of surprised that she's still on Chelsea. There were even rumors coming into the January window that Nushkin, might be seeking somewhere else for more playing time. And then right after those rumors, Nushkin gets a couple starts. So you're like, okay, maybe you're back in the fold, So like Walsh apparently is not match fit for 90 minutes. Fair enough. All right. So you just start Nushkid. Like then you have two central midfielders. Instead, she plays Captain, who like you want your central midfielder to help you like control the match, right? Like maybe win the ball back, but also like progress play, right? Like they're supposed to like especially in a match, especially when you have a 3-4-3, right? So then you have two central midfielders in that setup normally. Um but also in a big match, like in a match against Arsenal where they have good midfielders, right? Like the midfield battle's incredibly important. And so, like, I would have understood if Captain started as the 10 or in Ghoul Wrighton spot. It'd be like, okay, you have like three players who will help you control the match, control the midfield. Instead, you play her in central midfield, and Vika Captain was 0 for 2 on attempted dribbles. And I specifically remember one of them where she had the ball and like she was again like Chelsea are trying to play out, right? So we're in our own half still. There looks like right in front of her, it looks like there's a space, but you can clearly tell that Arsenal are setting a trap. And I'm just looking at this, I'm like, please turn back towards your teammates in the middle. Please don't try to dribble past these two players. And she tries to dribble past them. They take the ball from her. She goes down. She looks at the ref. And this is like when I want to throw stuff at the TV because it's like all of my pet peeves, like players playing soft, players making dumb decisions, like players doing shit they don't normally do. But yeah, she was 0 for 2 on dribbles. She was dribbled past a couple times, and she was 0 for 7 on ground duels. She didn't win a single duel in the central midfield. Like, if you want to understand how Arsenal control the match, that's it right there. Like, Sonia's initial lineup made no sense. When after she brought on Lauren James and Kira Walsh, then it looked a little better, but by then it was too late. Like, and I just don't understand why these lessons keep having to be learned still. Like, because Sonia has managed 4 matches against Arsenal now, and we haven't looked good in a single one of them. The best that we've looked was that first match, which was Jonas's last match, where they started 2-0.
I was
And
gonna,
then beyond
cause
that,
yeah, because I was gonna say
th-
the only match in recent times that Chelsea has actually dominated was Jonas's last match.
that
Facts.
wasn't even domination. We started well, and then we were
Well, I think it
holding
was
on
just
for
more
dear
us
life at the
looking.
end
I
of
think it
that
was just
one.
more us not wanting to play
Yeah, it
with
was
him
just us
anymore.
not
But
being able
yeah,
to do. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you're not wrong.
So it's like I from a like I was really looking forward to this match because, like you guys mentioned, you had those missing players. I think especially Leah Williamson. Like missing Leah Williamson in a match like this, that's where I feel like that's when you really gotta step on that team's neck. And instead, like I have I watching this have zero confidence about Chelsea facing Arsenal in Champions League. I have zero confidence that Sonia really knows what she wants to do, really knows what her best lineup is, or even her best setup. Like I think the season's kind of effed at this point. I don't because I don't think we're catching Manchester City. I have, like I said, I have zero confidence about that like I'm not entertaining Leuven beating Arsenal. I'm just maybe just say right now, like we are facing Arsenal in the quarterfinals. Like that's that. Um, and I have zero confidence about that. And I don't think there's anything that can happen between now and then that can actually change my mind on that. Because like even after the last loss against Everton, which was another diabolical loss, like um, you know, right after that, Chelsea had a response. Right, it looked like maybe they're starting to figure some things out. Sam Kerr was, scoring goals, looking like her old self. But like Sonia's reluctance to not play Sam Kerr for 90 minutes or Lauren James and then not play them at the same time, I don't get that. There's just a lot going on here that I don't really understand. And at this point, I'm Sonia out. Like I don't think she'll actually be sacked before the end of the season. Um, I don't really know who you would like go get in an interim sort of sense, but um, yeah, I don't think she knows what she's doing. I think she's having a bad effect on the club overall. Like now I'm looking at all these players who are out of contract in the summer, and I'm wondering like how are they viewing Chelsea right now, right? What happens when the success stops? And this has always been my thing. Like I don't treat the league like it's a foregone conclusion. We flirted with this in Emma's last season, right? That was almost a trophyless season. And that could happen this season. That can absolutely happen. I have no faith in our, potential or that League Cup final with United. Like at this point, United are favorites to me. So like I don't know. I This season's looking like it's going to be a rough one. And most importantly, we're in a top 3 race, right? Like Chelsea are on 27, Arsenal on 26, Man U are on 25. Anything could happen at this point.
Yeah.
Like we just we need to rack up these league wins because like if we fall
Yeah.
out of the Champions League,
I think that would get Sonia fired immediately. Like I already do
I think
think
that would, yeah, Sonia would
I
be
think
out
if you don't
then.
win the
oh
Champions League
yeah,
this year, there's definitely going to be questions of like, okay, maybe we didn't get the right manager for post Emma Hayes. But I think if you
mm-hmm.
want like a surefire way that she's fired, you don't win the title, you don't win Champions League, and you don't even qualify for next, she's gone. Like there is like that, like she's probably gone the moment it happens, like 100%. You know what I mean? Like if you like, let's say,
Yeah.
it's clear you're not gonna make the top three with 2 matches left to play in May, they're announcing she's gonna be fired.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'd be shocked if they didn't. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's interesting because you said like between now and the chance, because again, like I don't think anyone is entertaining Leuven pulling off the miracle upset. Um, but like I don't anticipate Chelsea going out and spending any more money this January with players.
That,
And I think even if ours, as much as I want Arsenal to do that, um, I just think of the fact that again, like we talked about the players we were missing that match. We were also without Chloe Kelly, who made her return during the Champions Cup. So she's getting healthier. And you want to talk about taking advantage of Arsenal defensively with no Leah Williamson. Daphne Van Domselaar is getting healthy too. She was on the bench for that match. So she's getting healthier.
that's
That's
that's the
what
other
I'm saying.
missing player.
And that is
No,
that
that's
is I think all Arsenal fans feel like that's the goalkeeper that really keeps the clean sheets with like we saw, like I said, we saw it against Barcelona. Leah Williamson had 20 deflections that match, and Daphne at like what everyone presumes was probably 80% was still clearing saves. So if you talk about like a
mm-hmm.
fully, like a legitimately fully healthy Arsenal team going into that, I guess it would be a quarter. I think it's the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Quarterfinal. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if we don't add in January, I think you're looking at a team that is actually really fucking scary. And for a team that's also in a top 3 race, like that's crucial because we need to start stacking up the league wins too. Like we need to like
it's a it's a
we need
little
to
too
do
close for comfort.
it
It
is a
is,
really
yeah.
tight, like I think the thing is just I think a lot of us, I know I did. I'll speak for myself here. I With the way that they don't get resources, I genuinely expected United to fall off by now. but it doesn't look like they're falling off, and they only look like they're getting better, and they are actually starting to invest in that team a little bit, and that's starting to really worry me, just in a long
That's
term sense
crazy.
of like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so this is a team that is
Hmm.
very clearly going to be there till May. So
Hmm.
goddamn, like
Longest tenured manager in WSL.
this is going to be a legit race. I think I will say I'm really intrigued by this Chelsea City match because
Yeah.
City loses, or even if City draws, like that's the tie, or City wins and or draws, that's the title almost definitely gone. Um,
Yeah.
if Chelsea loses, Mark's right, like that puts them in a really rough spot for that top three race. Like that is a
Hmm.
really rough spot. And then obviously if Chelsea win, like City is now only 6 points clear, with Arsenal coming back also looking for revenge in that last second loss. So like this is going to, like, this February is going to be a really like telling stretch for teams, just in terms of what like the WSL could look like, what that top 3 could look like. I mean, you have Champions League creeping up. Like this is where it gets really really thick and really fun, but I'm excited. Like you, like Mark got me a little bit more excited because yeah, we were missing a lot of players. We dominated that match. We're only getting healthier. I mean,
And
we'll
just
see.
a final thing, just to piggyback off of what you're saying there, Trev. Yeah, there's a report that came out in January that Chelsea don't plan on adding. And this is what I mean by the negative effects of
Mm.
Sonia, because it was the same Sonia who reportedly said, no, we don't need
Oh,
Lily
that's
Johannes.
right.
We have Lexi
You
Potter
you
at
will be
home.
you will be
Do you know how many
haunted by that phrase.
appearances do you know that Lexi Potter has?
3. I feel like it's
Uno.
less than 5.
One, and it's
One.
against. It was that home fixture against West Ham that Chelsea won 5
I think
0.
Lily Johannes is your Sam Coffey for us, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
for those
It
that
damn
know
sure
women's
is.
soccer, like Lily
I almost
Johannes,
made that comment actually.
yeah, like Lily Johannes is a lifetime, like her and her father are very public and very like lifetime Chelsea fans. So like
Her
Lily
father
was doing
still
everything.
comments on.
Yeah, like yeah, Lily was doing everything to
Yeah.
let it be known she wanted that next move to be to Chelsea, and for Sonia to come out when it felt like that move was probably going to get done to be like, no, we have Lexi Potter. Like, you, what, who, like who,
I
like
still
Exactly.
don't
Who?
know because
what
I haven't seen her play. I
the
still couldn't
fuck
tell
are
you
you talking
who.
about? But yeah,
Oh man.
All right. We could keep talking about our teams all
no,
day.
I mean, yeah,
I'm
this was
enjoying
extra
this.
long just
It's like,
because
yeah,
again, like
it's like,
it was our teams against each other, so it was like
yeah,
I got to get the gloating in, Mark's got to get the rant
Uh,
in, so like, you know, the rare occasions where we do
um,
talk about the top teams a whole lot because we're playing each other, right? Like
yeah.
it is what it is.
mhm.
I just, Mark, you mentioned this, and I've said it before, and I want to reiterate. Just like the best thing that Renee has been doing lately is putting Russo and Blacksenius together because it really puts Russo in her like more comfortable 10 spot. You can see she like creates chances when she's there. She's way more comfortable than trying to like always be the shooter and like be in a proper spot for like a tap in or whatnot. And Stina, I love Stina. Like she also had a goal that was just very slightly offside, I think, when she got it, which classic Stina. But it was a good finish regardless. And so just having her as well be like confident about shooting and just getting it on target is really good to see. Okay, moving on. We'll talk about Aston Villa versus Man United. Man United beat Villa 4-1, which was a pretty significant win. Uh, and I think because of how Villa performed lately, I don't remember our predictions, but I don't know that I expected them to lose that badly.
I think all of us might have gotten this one wrong. Yeah, none of us got this right. Um, DT and Trev. Oh, actually, DT, Trev, Tom all predicted a Villa win. I predicted a draw.
Yeah, so obviously wrong there. Especially like we were like, oh, Villa's at home. They were kind of like trending upwards. Seemed good, and United I think had a couple like poorer performances. So we're like, okay, maybe Villa's got a chance here, but no, United turned it around it was 1-1 at halftime, and then scored three in the second half in quick succession. It was like three goals in 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. Um,
Mhm.
so and got the win.
Yeah, that first half was very interesting. I mean, first of all, there's not a lot of XG in this match either. 0.59 for Aston Villa versus 1.6 for Manchester United, which like four goals from 1.6 is kind of wild. But that also kind of makes sense when their first goal was scored via a corner, and via the corner taker. It was an Olympico by Olme. Um, yeah, by Julia Olme. And yeah, so not a great moment there. But 2 minutes later, Villa equalized through Christy Hansen, or that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Equalized through Christy Hansen. And so, yeah, as you said, went into halftime 1-1. I think Villa would have felt like they were, very much in the match, maybe even could go on and get the win. But, like we actually just talked about, United have invested this January, and they invested in their forward line. And so they started the match with Leah Schuler. She didn't have any goal contribution in this match, but she came off in the 61st minute for Elizabeth Turlin. And, that certainly had an impact. Also coming on was Hannah Lundqvist, who was also a January signing. And I think Nelson was also Lisa Nelson. Was she a January signing as well? I don't recognize her name. Um,
Um, Let me look that up. She definitely was a more recent signing.
But yeah, she came on 66 minute, and yeah, they essentially changed the match. Like you mentioned, DT. The goals came in 72nd, 75th, and 79th minute. Turlin made it 2-1 in the 72nd minute. Kind of a typical shot for like from around the penalty area, kind of what you would expect. Um, then Jess Park scored in the 75th minute, again from good shot from inside the box, and then she assisted Hannah Lundqvist, who, like I mentioned, new signing. Lundqvist made a run down the right from her right back spot, and scored. And you know, just like that, the match was over. Turland put the ball in the back of the net again, but it was incorrectly, it appears, called offside. So kind of unlucky for her. But but yeah, overall, solid win for United. I think, like, again, you see the power of their investment. Um, and considering the other results, like specifically Chelsea losing, I think United, it was important for United to capitalize on that and get themselves in the thick of the top three race. And they're also still in Champions League, so it's curious to see what they'll do from here. I mean, yeah, I'll say it again because I feel like it just bears repeating. Mark Skinner is the longest tenured WSL manager.
Yeah. And honestly, he's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, especially if they continue on this run. But
Yeah.
also, we were wrong. Sorry. Nalsund has been with the team since 2023. She is not a new signing. And actually, if you
Okay.
remember, when they played at Brann in Norway and lost their boots, she was the player who, like, she's Norwegian, had her
Oh
mother
yeah.
bring her boots from home. Um, so that was funny. That's our little Nalsund lore.
Oh, one more thing, quickly, that I forgot to mention. Valentine's Joyce was great in this match, and this was like when it was 1-1 in particular, she made a couple big saves, and so it's like perfect example of why she's important, the difference when she plays. And as we've said before, and we'll keep saying, like, success for United largely hinges on her performances. So
I'm glad you brought up goalkeepers because Villa has Ellie Roebuck playing, or at least they played the last couple matches, and Sabs D'Angelo was playing for the majority of like the beginning of the season. I actually don't. I was looking back to see when they made that switch or if there's any consistency with when each of them play. I'm not sure if Roebuck was still injured or if it was like a later transfer, and that's why she's starting now. But it seemed like D'Angelo was like pretty good in the number one spot. And I think like the last just two games, definitely Roebuck has played and has like conceded six now between Arsenal and United from the like FA Cup and this. So curious to see where how they like continue with whichever one of them and if they like just keep switching off or whatnot. So that's something to look at too. Because I think like Roebuck hadn't played for a while. She still could be a bit like um, what's the word? Just like not up to par. Like she was a very good keeper and maybe just like not quite there to 100% yet. Not sure. Alrighty. After that, we had Leicester versus West Ham, and West Ham got a win. Everyone clap. Everyone clap. 3 points for West Ham. Yeah, West Ham went away at Leicester 2-1, got the win. Um, are they still? They are second to us.
Slightly
Yes,
above
they're
Liverpool,
11th
yeah.
in the table. They have 8 points now, tied with Everton, but they're down on goal difference. But you know what? A win's a win. 3 points are 3 points, and so it's two wins in a row if you count the like FA Cup win against Newcastle. And yeah, that Treb, you can tell us more. I didn't actually like look at this one, but I just saw the scoreline, and I know that I think all of us got this one wrong as well, and nobody
Did
thought
we?
West Ham would
Oh
get a win.
man. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, right? Like West Ham has been pretty, you know, we all know how West Ham have been this season, so it's hard to like
Yeah,
pick them to win. Yeah, this was like a bangers only match. I mean, this was really good. First of all, West Ham scored all three goals. So it ended 2-1 West Ham win. West Ham got all three goals. I guess they decided to spot Leicester at the end. But the first goal was off of a free kick, a set piece. You know I love that. Um, but it was actually really, it was a free kick. It was Hanshaw had the free kick just outside the box. It was a beautiful ball. Like it was, and it was at a slight angle too. So it was like on the edge of the box, kind of near the corner ish. And she just curled. I mean, first of all, it was well over the wall. Wall was like irrelevant in that situation. And it just curled top shelf. Nothing the keeper can do about it. It was I mean, I can watch that goal all day. Like it was such a great free kick. And it's what you do in that situation. Like you have a chance to score from there. If you have a player that can hit that shot, you take that shot and you live with the results. And this time it was a beautiful free kick in. And that was in the first half. They went into the halftime break up 1-0. And then shortly into the second half, Martinez had a phenomenal goal. She took on a couple of defenders and let one rip. Shooter shoot. She let one rip. It was in for the goal. Like it was a great move. I'm trying to look it up. I feel like she's found the back of the net a few times recently. Like she's starting to find some really good form, I feel like. But yeah, they controlled a lot. Well, I mean, I guess controlled in the sense that they didn't really ever look like losing. Like Leicester didn't really feel like a threat, especially after getting that free kick goal in the 34th minute. Leicester never really looked like a threat, although Leicester did have 58% of the possession. They both had similar XGs according to FUNMOB, which was 0.54. Um, Leicester had 14 shots, but very few of them found. I'm trying to find where the shots on target. Yeah, three on target for Leicester, so not really nothing. Whereas West Ham had 9 shots with 5 on target, and that's really what matters, right? Like you can shoot at the goal all you want, but if you don't hit the target, you don't really have a chance of scoring. That's kind of the point of it. And then the goal that they gave up, to be fair, it was a really good move by Leicester. Right at the end, they were able to get the attack going. They came down, ball at the flank. It was a great cross in to where their new signing Lehman was, and it was just one of those situations where there was 3 defenders around her, and the cross is coming across the face of the goal, and it just gets nudged in past the line, and you're like, okay, who did it go off? It didn't go off Lehman. It went off the defender. It was, I have that for you right here. It was Nystrom. It went off her boot, so she gets the unlucky goal awarded in her favor. Well, I guess it's not in her favor, but it's to her name. And that was it. But it was one of those matches. Like, I was watching this match off and on a little bit because, as Mark mentioned before, like, for me, as someone who lives on the West Coast, you know, most of these matches tend to start at 3:55, like 4 o'clock essentially in the morning. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't always watch every single match because sometimes you get matchups like this and you're like, do I really want to wake up at 4 in the morning to watch Leicester West Ham, or I can just like watch it, later on in the day, thankfully, because I have ESPN and they tend to show replays and stuff. So thankfully I do that a lot of times. But this was just one of those matches that I had happened to be up for. And I was watching it off and on while I was watching a lot of the other matches going on. But yeah, West Ham looked really good. Like Deep D said, coming off of that 3-0 win against Newcastle, which it's always hard to judge that because we've talked about this before. You can be the worst WSL team. I mean, we saw it with Liverpool. Like, you can be the worst WSL team and you get some of these lower league teams and you look like unbeatable. So it's always hard to kind of judge a team based off that. But West Ham, I think that, I mean, I don't know. They could be finding form, maybe, possibly, because you look at their recent fixtures and out of their last kind of handful, it was the 2-2 draw at home to Liverpool, which isn't great. But then they had a back-to-back against City and Chelsea, and that went exactly how you thought it would go. But then they bounced back really good. Like, they got the FA Cup win on the road to Newcastle, and then they were on the road again, having to play Leicester in the WSL. Now they're going to get set for this weekend, and we'll talk about that. But, they have Tottenham at home, a Tottenham team that just lost to Liverpool. So there's a chance that, again, we'll talk about the Liverpool one later. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun. But there's a chance that they can really just separate themselves, especially with Everton starting to hit a dip. I think right now it's probably a 3-horse race for that kind of like what would normally be a relegation spot, but this year is that playoff spot. Everton, West Ham have 8, as Deepti mentioned. Liverpool have 7. Leicester only has 9 points, and that's kind of like the group of 4 before you jump up to where London City is. But I just think that realistically, like, I have more faith that Leicester is probably going to get a few more results down the line than these other 3 teams will. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think West Ham has a really good opportunity against Tottenham, and it would be really funny if Tottenham lose back to back to Liverpool and West Ham. Honestly, it would be peak Tottenham in a way that would fill my soul with so much joy. But yeah, like, congratulations to West Ham, their first away win of the season, their second win overall on the season. They remain above Liverpool, and that's all you can really ask for. I feel like we do this every other week. Give me like 1 second while I look up the WSL2 just to see, because we talked about this. It's the 3rd place in WSL2 that is going to be facing the last place in the WSL for that playoff spot to see who gets to join the newly promoted teams as the league expands. And right now it is Bristol City who sit in 3rd. But I will say this, and this is what I'm really hoping for. Crystal Palace are just 1 point behind Bristol City.
Wow.
So
they weren't that close
they
before.
listen, I'm looking at this right now. And like I said, like,
They made
we
some
don't watch
ground.
a lot of WSL2 matches. Right now,
Damn.
they are on a 5-match league win. They are on a run. Out of their
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they have only lost 2 games in their last 8 overall matches. Those 2 games, 2-0 loss to Arsenal in the Women's League Cup and a 5-0 loss to Chelsea in the FA Cup. They have gone on a 5-win run in the WSL2, though. Like, they have found form, it seems like. And if they can sneak into that third spot, I think now
Oh,
you're legitimate.
and sorry, I'm
No,
just
yeah,
they beat Leicester in the
yeah. Well,
in the League Cup.
this is what I'm trying to say is Crystal Palace is a team that has experience against these guys. All these other teams. So
Mm-hmm.
like we
Yeah,
talk about
true.
it before, the worst WSL team can beat these lower level. I think if Crystal Palace can sneak into that third spot and they go up against a West Ham, a Liverpool, we might be welcoming Crystal Palace right back into the WSL. So
Yeah,
just
I'll
just to kind
be.
of close that match out with just saying that like this is going to be a very interesting final three race, because if the WSL2 gets exciting and Crystal Palace can sneak into that third spot, that is legitimately a team I think
Mhm.
we look at and say, oh, they can beat one of Everton, Leicester, West Ham, or Liverpool.
Especially if it's well, actually, I don't know if the playoff is like a one game
I
or
I
two
I,
leg.
I
I'm
didn't want to
assuming
say it.
it's
I'm
like
not
just the
sure.
one,
I'm not 100% sure. We'll talk about that as we get closer to it. But I
Yeah,
but
believe
if
I
it's just
think it's a
like
one
a
game one
single
off. Like
game,
I think
yeah,
it's a
yeah. I
single
think it's a.
elimination one game one off.
I would assume it's at a neutral site as well, like how they do
yeah, like
the
most playoffs are. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like how they do the
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 championship
promotion to Premier
on the
League.
men's side, yeah.
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 I think so too.
hmm But also
Um,
I'll just make a quick comment. I think Bristol City like would not be a straightforward matchup for
Yeah.
whoever has to face them either.
They're
You know,
decent.
like cause they I only say that because like they've been investing for a while. They were
Yeah.
last in the WSL and like it was 2020, right? That's
like
right.
two
Yeah.
seasons ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that they're kind of
I
recent. Yeah.
just I
So
just
I
feel like
mean,
with
but
Crystal Palace's recent experience in it, like they would know legitimate. Like they would be like, look, we played some of these teams last year. You know what I mean?
hmm
So and they played an even tougher Liverpool team. So like this will be a Liverpool that they see without Olivia Smith and without Taylor Hines and without some of their players. But that'll be down the road. But yeah, like that's getting really, because Mark is right. A couple of weeks ago when we checked in the WSL2, Crystal Palace was like eighth and they've stormed
yeah.
to third. So interesting tidbit to watch as we kind of near the end of the season.
Watch more WSL too.
I wish it
Yeah.
was easy.
I know, right? Instead of the one game a week they give us.
Yeah. I mean,
I also want to say, like, West Ham, I can see them getting a few more results because they've been busy this January window, transfer window, and it seems to be helping. Like, Estelle Cascarino, the defender from Juve,
mm-hmm.
she started this match, and so she's obviously like going to be a big role. That's just a loan, but still getting her is pretty big. Katie Zellum is on loan from London City Lionesses. She didn't play in this match, but like she's also like has a lot of experience in this league as well, so that'll be good. And then Tuva Hansen, another defender from Bayern, has been transferred to West Ham, and so they've got some like pieces that will definitely help them. I think moving like through the rest of the season.
I could see West Ham doing like what Villa did last year, where Villa was like sleepwalking until the final few weeks of the
And then just
season,
made
and
a
then they
push.
won like yeah, made like won 4 or 5 in a row, ended up six somehow. I could see West Ham going on a like late run, winning like, and I bring that up because of Rita Guarino being in her first season. Like I could see where it might be rough for a while, where she's trying to institute her style and so forth, but maybe towards the end when like players get it and like some of the newer players are like fully bedded in, we'll see like a better West Ham actually win some games at the end.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about how important February is. Theirs is really important. They have three matches, three WSL matches in February. Two of them are at home. They have Tottenham next. They have Brighton after that. And then they go away to Everton. So very much a chance to really pick up
God,
points
if
in
they
that.
beat Tottenham. Oh man, if they beat
Listen, man,
Tottenham, they would
from your
enjoy the
mouth to God's
hell
ears,
out of
I'm
that.
hoping.
I
I'm hoping.
am a hammer.
Well, let's talk about who did beat Tottenham this
Yeah, let's
weekend.
talk about who did beat
Yeah.
Liverpool
Tottenham.
got their first win. Claps for Liverpool as well. It's like, and cheers, extra claps because against the Spurs. Yeah, I mean, it was 0-0 until 90 plus 4.
You
And
love
then
to
Mia
see it.
Enderby
You
got
love
a
to see it.
brace in the stoppage time. um, they won. Like, I think I think the first one was off a set piece. The second one was just like playing out the back gone wrong slash defender slipped, and it just like was kind of lucky slash unlucky for one side.
Oh, that's so
But yeah,
Spursy.
like the exactly, it was extremely Spursy. But yeah, they got their first win. Um, Mark, did you want to? Were you speaking more about this one? I just
No,
watched the highlights, but
yeah, I didn't really have too much to say. I just looking at the numbers though. Liverpool had 2.03 xG, 18 shots to Tottenham's 5. Whoo-hoo. Hey, but that's I mean, it's one thing to lose, but like you lay down a stinker against Liverpool, like ooh, that's all I got.
He said,
I
"That's
mean,
all I got."
yeah, like it was. I feel like again, I said I didn't watch this match. I just watched the highlights. But even in the highlights, they weren't really showing much until like those last two goals. So I feel like there really wasn't much in it until just like the very end when that happened. And like it's a good 3 points. Like they needed that. Like we said, now they're just 1 point off from what is it, West Ham and Everton. And so like before they were probably a shoe in. Like if they didn't get these 3 points, it would have been very hard for them to get out of that 12th spot. But I think now that they're there, now it definitely is like a 3 or 4 team race, like we said. They're also a team that's been busy January window. One of their bigger signings, I guess, has been Denise O'Sullivan,
Yep.
who was in this match, and then they had Martha Thomas from Tottenham, which I'm assuming she didn't get to play because that was just a loan and she can't play against her parent club. Um, but they've had like a few from Sweden and Norway, basically Häcken and Hammarby. They've like rated their team, so getting those players has been huge for them, and clearly it's like showing. Like I think the teams that needed to do something in January have done that, and now we're starting to see like the fruits of what they've acquired and see how far they can take it. But yeah, it's funny, like, watch those last two goals. Literally 90 plus 4 and 90 plus 5. Like, it went from 0-0 to, like, oh, we're up 2-0 now. Brace, a quick brace. Probably the latest brace Mia Enderby's ever going to score. Although it looks like the first goal has now been, like, it was chalked off and given as an own goal to Koga. But still. Um, yeah, especially that second goal, I don't remember who slipped, but it might have been Hunt in the back line, but either way, it was kind of comical just how it happened. Go watch those highlights for some comic relief if you need it.
And speaking of slips, I mean, Tottenham are slipping down the table. Like they are now in fifth, which they're only 2 points off of United, but they're in fifth. It's a real shame what happened to Brighton and just not able to keep up with what I was hoping they would do this season. So I don't think they make up the 6 point gap right now that is between 6 and 5. But I mean, you never know. Like if Tottenham just keep losing, they'll close the gap themselves. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
It
but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's only
I
six
think
points.
I think Tottenham, yeah, it's only, but I mean, again, you would have to have. I mean, I think Villa or London City probably have a better chance of like closing that gap on them if they start losing a lot of matches. But all that to be said, like I think Tottenham was another team that we looked at and said, okay, is this going to be the year finally that they turn the corner and get a little bit more competitive for that top three? And they're not. Like they had a hot start. It looked like they might, but this is why also in this league, the top three teams are who they are, right? Because even with slow starts that Arsenal have, even as Chelsea like drop, more points than they tend to do in a season, just consistently throughout the year, they are who they are. Like they are one of the best teams in the league, and they put themselves in positions to remain in that top three at all times. And you know, this is why it's the onus is on other teams when we talk about who's breaking into that top three. Like this is why we say who's breaking in, not like who's gonna like
Yeah.
you have to show that you for the whole course of the season can maintain that level of play because teams like City, teams like Chelsea, teams like Arsenal, like we're gonna do that. And the crazy thing is, more times than not, like especially with Chelsea and Arsenal, like they have Champions League going on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they have other
Yeah.
competitions that like they legitimately have to focus for, and they still do enough to maintain their positions. Whereas like teams like Tottenham starting to fall off, team like United hitting a bit of like they won their match, but like hitting a bit of a rough spell. We'll see how they do with big matches
Hmm.
coming up to close out the second half of the season. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's just another year of asking what is Tottenham going to be, because I still don't think. I mean, I think this is now what 4 or 5 years where it felt like a team that probably should be competing a lot more higher than they are, and they just don't seem to have an identity really. Like I don't know. Like I look at City and I look
The
at Chelsea. Those are attack-minded teams. They're gonna beat you. Like City's
Yeah.
gonna beat you at Bunny Shaw. Like they're gonna cross it into the center. They're gonna let her take care of it. Chelsea are gonna hit you on the wings with speed. That's what they're gonna do. They have deep attack. Arsenal are a team that's gonna defend you, right? Like they may not blow you away 5-0, but you let them get up 1-0, 2-0, like your chances are done
and I
because they
think
have the
Arsenal's
defense to
build
hold
up
them.
play.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and
their
I think Arsenal's
possession
build
based
up play
build up
is also
play,
pretty. Yeah.
defend. So like all these teams have identities, and even United, as they
Even United, yeah.
improve and get better, like they are a team that like they have Mallard. They know that they can bring her either as a starter or bring her off the bench to really close out games. Like they are a team I think that is trying to be not so much possession based, but I think they're a team that wants to build up in their attack. Like they're not going to fly at you the way Chelsea will, but they're going to be like, okay, we're going to be methodical. We're going to take it down. We're going to get the shot and we're going to go. And so, like, I just don't know what Tottenham are. Like, I don't know what they are. They're just kind of there. Sometimes they win matches. They might hang around that top four for a little bit, but inevitably, this is what happens. They fall off and they start losing to teams like Liverpool. And again, like if they're back to back with Liverpool and West Ham as two losses, like that, maybe that is their identity, is just to be Spurs and to Spurs it up. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Spurs
Maybe
will
we're witnessing it.
Spurs.
Maybe this is them. Who knows?
But I
Right.
mean, in terms of just like Tottenham and like I agree with pretty much everything you said, Trev. Like, because even the success they were having, it was always tight wins. You know what I mean? It was always like kind of keeping it close, and then somebody does something. Like I think for me, it was always a question of how sustainable is that? Because like I think when you look at the table and you look at like the differences and of where teams are in terms of like what part of the table they are, I think the goals scored kind of tells a lot, and so, the top four, City have scored 36, Chelsea 24, Arsenal 25, and United 28, right? And then you'll have Tottenham at 17, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just, I always worry about teams that like have to work really hard for their goals. Like even and we see our teams do it sometimes, and then it's like, ugh, like this doesn't look good, And so I think I think that is pretty much Tottenham. I will say for Tottenham, like they've been spending more on the women's side. I know in the last year or so they have like broken and rebroken their highest transfer. But again, like it's also a low bar because it's a women's game. So like Tottenham are not spending anywhere near what um, even United are, much less Arsenal, Chelsea, City. So um, yeah, I think Tottenham have a ways to go. I think they are solidifying themselves in that like mid-table, maybe a little bit higher ish, but they just have to keep on investing.
And just like last point, I think
Amen.
you can have an identity of like struggle ball in a way, right? Like I know it's a completely different league, but I often think about how Seattle Reign are in the NWSL. Like they are a team that literally their identity is, even if we have to grind it out for 89 minutes, when that 90th minute hits, like we will get the game winning goal. And like, but there's a sustain because they are a team that understands that that's who they have to be sometimes, and they're okay with that. And so like you can have that identity, but yeah, if you're not scoring goals though, that's where it becomes a problem. Because on the NWSL side, the Reign are a team that are constantly like they'll throw in a 3-1 win, a 2-1 win, a 4-0 win, against teams that they should beat. But their identity is very much that of like they are a full 90, what I call it, like a full 90-minute team. Like you can't go into the 90th minute thinking like, okay, we got them on the draw, because it in an instant in that 90 plus 5, they're going to go down, hit an attack, get a look, and score a goal because that's just who they are. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Tottenham want to be, who they want to be in the future.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last match of the league from last weekend. Man City at London City. Man City got the win 2-1. I'm not going to do this as much justice as Tom would, but you know what? London City was a better team, actually. I think watching this and watching it back, they played a lot better than what they have the last few games for sure. And maybe they're starting to like find. We're talking about identity. Maybe they're starting to find their identity under the new manager, Eder Maestra, and especially against a City team that's been fairly like. I mean, besides the Chelsea loss, they were on like a run, and so coming up against them and like being the stronger team overall is promising. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't get it over the line and get a result. Um, I think if you look at the stats, the XG were pretty similar. Even like the total shots and shots on target were all pretty even. And so it was just a matter of like getting them in the goal. Excuse me. So like Goodwin, Godfrey, both of them, especially Goodwin on London City, had a few shots that like hit the crossbar, hit the post. So it definitely could have been a much higher scoreline for London City. They were just a bit unlucky in that sense. Obviously, like City, the two goals they did score were really good, very like Manchester City esque. Caroline got the first one in the 11th minute, so pretty quick scoring there. Um, when she's healthy, she's like pretty unstoppable and like, yeah, just a super important piece. Um, and then Bunny Shaw got the winner in the 86th minute. And yeah, like I said, both were like just a result of like good passing. Viv was pretty instrumental in both of them. I think she got the assist on the first goal. And then Yui Hasegawa, who's just a stalwart in like the midfield for City, she also was very like important for those. Um, Other than that, like City didn't wow me this time. Like they didn't have a ton of good chances, and it wasn't like they like kept having shots on goal. And so I think like the London City defense and midfield did pretty well at like cutting them off when they needed to. Sangare on the back line of London City, I think, played really well. Um, but yeah, basically, Godfrey and Goodwin were like my two, I guess, like top players of the match. And like Godfrey ended up getting the tying goal in the 68th minute. Really good shot off the right wing. And basically, those two were terrorizing Rebecca Knack. She did not have a good game. Um, there was one like there was one shot, I think it was Goodwin, who got a really good just like through ball from I don't remember who on London City played her through, but it went straight through Rebecca Kanak and Jade Rose, and Kanak just stopped running after her. Jade Rose sprinted and almost caught up to her, but yeah, she just like fell back. And then there was another corner where Kanak again got beat in the air, and that almost led to another goal. I think it hit the crossbar there. So like, yeah, she was one of their weak spots, and they definitely like exploited that. We saw Van de Donk come back again. She got another 20 minutes this match, so she's slowly getting more and more minutes. Again, we like the whole theme of identity. If we go on that, London City, I still don't know that they know their identity, but maybe they've still like making a lot of moves. Even through January, they've like made a bunch, and so I'm just like still really curious what's going to happen. Most of their moves have been moves out of the club, which is interesting. They've only brought Delphine Cascarino in, but they let Zellum go to West Ham. I will mention this when we talk about transfers really quick, but Sophia Jakobsen is left on a free, even though she like signed a 2-year deal and it's only been like half a season. So like that was interesting. She went to Liga MX. they put a couple other players on loan. But yeah, so I mean, it's really promising. And like, I guess this is what Kang had in mind when she sacked the previous managers. Like, we need a bit of a change. We need like a new spark. And it seems like they've kind of got it. Again, it's like a shame that they didn't get the points and the result. But like I said, like they're showing promise. And I think there is like, they can do well in the future matches, and definitely get some results. I'm trying to see what their next game is against Brighton, and then they have Everton and then United. So like definitely Brighton and Everton should be 6 points. Like they should be able to get those. So we'll see. In the table, they're eighth at the moment. They're on 16 points, same as Aston Villa. But like Trevor just said, that's like 7 points off of Tottenham. If Tottenham's slipping and if they can get these like 6 points the next couple matches, they're still like in the run for fifth place in the table. In terms of City, they did get the win. They're 9 points clear now. Seems like title is wrapped up. Um, Obviously, mathematically, teams are still in it, but uh, it seems like even I think Mark, you mentioned that on Ian Wright and is it Jill Scott's or Steph Houghton's podcast, they've also seemed to think that City has the title race wrapped up. So if I were Tom, I would be like, no, it's not. We're still gonna lose. But
Tom was the only
Tom's
one
not
who
here.
did not predict to win for this match.
Oh, it's just playing mind games. And you know
Tom would
what? They
say
worked. I also
Tom would
did
say
not
not
predict a
Sib
win in the
Hines would
Arsenal
have
match, and
them
they
lose
won.
this
So,
match. Yeah. It would be a battle of
yep.
terrorists for Tom. It'd be like Sonia Bonpastor going up against not Seb Hines, and he would say Chelsea probably are still mad about the Arsenal loss, and they win the match 4-2. I bet. I guarantee you. I don't. Did Tom actually sent his predictions in too? I think I
He
didn't
I
even
did.
think
look
he
at that.
We'll talk
said 2.
about him for the next one.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it for this one, but yeah, I know he didn't pick City to
Um,
win because that's his. He is now full on Jedi
that's
mind
his
tricks right
MO.
now. Yeah, he is
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we are losing every match until we have the trophy in our hands.
Or drawing. We're just
Yeah.
not winning.
He's slandering them to a title.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's working,
It's
At the
working.
moment, it's
Well,
working.
we'll talk about it as we get closer to the title being actually won. But like I said this before on recording, and I've said it like outside. Like they very much took advantage of the fact that they did not have Champions League this year. Like they
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
played that. Like they took the short term pain of not making Champions League and have parlayed it into what is likely going to be the WSL Championship. So
That's gonna be Chelsea next year.
hopefully not. Hopefully you just don't make Champions League and then watch us lift the trophy next year. But it is what it is.
All right.
Also, I think this was Sam Coffey's first appearance for
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
City
was.
Oh,
Yep. Yep.
since she signed. So she came on in the 75th or so. Um, Played,
for
yeah, about
Bunkinde.
15 to 20 minutes. So, yeah, she's there, like we said. She shouldn't be, but she's there. But yeah, that wraps up the league matches from last weekend. Predictions wise, I know we didn't run through what all we had predicted, but um, each of us got at least a point. Mark, you and Tom now are both tied at 32 points. Treb, you got +3, so you're at 36. And I am at 40. I just got 1 point this week. So closing the
Closing
gap.
the gap.
Closing the gap. Um, yeah. And then, really quick, we'll talk about the FIFA Champions Cup. That was midweek. We had Gotham versus Corinthians in the first semifinal. Corinthians won 1-0. I I did not know how to watch these matches, to be honest, and then I realized afterwards they were on FIFA Plus, I guess, and maybe on DAZN as well.
And the zone. Yeah, that's where I watched it.
Arsenal played AS FAR Rabat and won 6-0. I think that was a pretty standard win. Like they should have won it by that much. I think I mentioned earlier this episode the Gotham Corinthians one. They're both preseason. You know, it felt like a preseason match. Trev, you're the one who said that. Like even the
Yeah, I said that the
goal.
goal that was conceded was very much a two teams in the middle of preseason type of goal where like the attack itself wasn't that strong. The shot itself was pretty sloppy. It was just met with even sloppier defending. And uh, to be quite frank, as someone who does know the NWSL quite well, AKB should have done better on that. Like that, to let that kind of goal go in when you're a goalkeeper of her stature, like that was bad. And it's probably why Gotham have resorted to their familiar sore loser attitude, because it was Gotham who were the ones probably 10 minutes after that loss complaining about everything they could. The travel was too much. The sun was too bright in their eyes. They were facing the wrong way. I think I saw some Gotham people even say like, well, Corinthians is only a week out from their season, so they are in less preseason form than we are.
Okay.
Lucky this is a WSL podcast because
I was just about to say, I'm loving the
Gotham
NWSL
is
leaking
wild.
onto the
Listen,
WSL
listen,
broadcast.
listen.
I mean, I
Gotham
was
got what they deserve.
hoping that
Hey,
we would
in my
get
opinion, right? Like, how are you going to complain about the
Gotham
travel?
Arsenal.
Because I'm just saying, like, real quick, like, how do you complain about the travel when your season doesn't start for another month? So, what do you want? Like, do you want to? I mean, I know what they want. They wanted it to be in New York, but if you think a team who's in the middle of Champions League, FA Cup, and a mid-season title run right now, mathematically still in it, like, you think that they're going to go across the globe to play you in a 2-game tournament? No, like you're all in preseason. Come to London. Like, yeah, that's how that works. We are the Champions League winners. That's how that works. You are an 8th seed champ. I love the NWSL. I love the NWSL with all my heart. You are an 8th seed champion. We are Champions League winners. We're hosting. Cry more. Like, just cry more. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a great. I mean, listen, I think Arsenal. I think
I
everyone
mean,
was
I
right.
think
Like
that's just
Arsenal
because
in the
they.
final, I think they should win it all, and it'll be a nice record to add to our illustrious records that we have. Like first ever Champions Cup winners. Cool. 2.8 million in the bag. Maybe we can use that 2.8 and convince Bunny Shaw to like get paid more than Trinity Rodman. Come on over to
Right.
London.
I
Um,
will say, I actually like this result a lot just for the competition, right? Like, because it's always like, I feel like a lot of WOSO conversations, especially from people in those respective countries, that it's like NWSL versus WSL.
Oh yeah.
And like,
No one gave Corinthians
I
a
do
chance. Yeah.
exactly, like no one's, and like even like well-meaning people, people who like are knowledgeable about WOSO, probably not giving Corinthians much of a chance. So it's
No.
like, but like a team like Corinthians, especially in the women's game, are more of an unknown quantity than anything else. You know what I mean? So you don't really know these players because I mean, women's game is like where, in terms of like seeing all of this and like actually being able to watch it and so forth, like a lot of these teams and players are still mysteries to us by and
Yeah.
large, right? Like it's difficult to watch those teams. So
And to be fair, like the Brazilian league isn't the greatest, but also you're right. Like they weren't getting any respect. I think for those of us who know women's soccer, like I think had it been like a Tigres,
yeah,
like a
mhm.
Pachu, like a Toluca, like had it been like a Liga MX Femenil side, right? Like America, like
right.
maybe you're getting a lot more respect from them when they're being like, okay, like we don't know who's gonna meet Arsenal in the final, but like it's the same with the Arsenal facing the Asian champion, right? Like it's just a team we don't have a clue about, players we don't really know. Um, even though, funnily enough, like even though the Asian national teams are all like really talented teams, right? It's just like their domestic leagues, like they get no respect, and like I think everyone expected Gotham Arsenal in the final, but uh, I think had you said before the tournament one team is going to get upset, I think everyone would have probably pointed to Gotham being that team. To be honest. So,
Yeah.
but you're right. Like I thought it was the goal was ugly. The match was pretty brutal to watch, honestly. But the result was fun. Like I think this is fun. Now it's Corinthians and Arsenal in the final, and I think yeah, like I think you're right. Like I think everyone just expects Arsenal to win it all and all that, but you never know. Like you never know what happens. I'm glad that it's happening now and it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, we're gonna have the final in March, because then I'd really be like, well, in the middle of Champions League, like I don't care about this tournament. Like send the kids, send Naomi Williams and Leah Habert. Well, she's on loan now, but like you know what I mean. Like I'd just be like, send all the 15-year-olds and let them handle that. But I'm glad it's happening now. Maybe it gives Arsenal even more confidence. Like we talk about it on the men's side with the Carabao Cup, right? Sometimes you just need to see yourself lift a trophy in
Yeah.
the middle of this season and feel good about yourself, right? So I think maybe being the inaugural winners of this, get a little cash in your pocket, coming off a 2-0 win against Chelsea. Like now, technically, you've gone 2 matches in a row, clean sheets. You do it again for the final. Like who knows? Maybe you go into that second half of the WSL season feeling like that math might math out in your favor should other results fall your way.
I will say, like, so the way Gotham did get to this competition was like they won the CONCACAF Champions League, right? So they did beat
Hmm.
Tigres
I
on the
guess
way
that's
to
fair.
this.
That's fair.
They are different teams
It
because
wasn't just
this
the
now like
NWSL
the whole
team.
team is changed. It wasn't like it's a competition that spans like several months, and so the whole team is changed. But anyway, that I think is also partly why like people are like, okay, NWSL versus WSL, we want to see that. But it's like I said before, it's so hard to like say
You don't
anyway
want to
if
see
like
that.
one team is
You don't
in
want to see
preseason and one
preseason
is not.
Gotham against mid-season
Yeah,
Arsenal. I
exactly. Like you don't
promise you
want to
don't
see
want
a
to see that.
preseason.
Because then the conversation would
I
have been
want to
like, we
say
want
I
to see
am.
them in the red. Like, come on, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And like we saw that when like preseason Arsenal and Chelsea went
Went to
over
play the
to
Spirit, yeah,
play like
and
in the US. Yeah.
that match ended in
Same
a
thing.
draw, and people were like, "See,
And like
NWSL can
oh,
hang,"
see
and it's like,
exactly.
guys,
It's so, you can't say it.
again,
But
I love the
I do
NWSL.
want
I
to
think
say
they're good, but
I'm worried, not worried, but the one thing about this final that I'm like, okay, Arsenal, like, it'd be nice to get this trophy, but also they're going up against a CONMEBOL team. I don't want it to get
oh
crunchy.
my,
I don't
it's
want
gonna get
any
ugly.
injuries. We don't
It's
want
gonna
none of
get
that.
ugly.
Yeah. It's
It's gonna
like,
be.
we need to stay healthy.
Damn, I didn't even think.
That's
You're
my only
not
thing. It's
wrong.
just like,
I might send the kids anyway because
Yeah.
I definitely don't want Leah Williamson out there. But then again, to be
right?
fair, between Leah Williamson and like Katie McCabe, like if they want to try to play common ball style, like have fun.
Okay, yeah, Katie McCabe will play
Because
CONMEBOL
like we
style, that's
have
for
we
sure.
have
But like,
players that
we don't
can
want
get,
anyone injured.
no, yeah, we don't listen. We definitely, I would be beside myself if someone got seriously hurt playing in this $2 million tournament. Respectfully, like I'd be so pissed off. I don't even think about it. Don't even put that in the universe, DPT, please. Don't
Yeah.
even. Don't even
Okay,
say
I'm
that.
not gonna
What?
do
I
it.
wasn't even thinking about that, but now you got me worried.
What did I say? I didn't say anything. We'll cut that.
Exactly. Who we got
So,
coming up in this week of matches?
oh, well, I was just about to say, yeah, looking at Arsenal's schedule, right? Their February, it's really
We
big
t-
for them.
well, we talked about that,
Obviously,
yeah.
like February 1st is the final, and then City,
On the 8th,
Leuven,
yep.
right? Leuven, also the FA Cup, like, yeah, season defining.
Okay,
Jesus.
I mentioned most of these transfers, but since we're coming up on the end of January transfer window, there've just been a couple more moves. So Katie Zellum was loaned from London City Lionesses to West Ham. Emma Watson, not Hermione Granger, was loaned from Manchester United to Tigres. We're seeing a bit of an influx to Liga MX. Tuva Hansen has been transferred from Bayern to West Ham, and then Sophia Jakobsen transferred on what looks like a free transfer from London City to Toluca. So another one going to Mexico. And if you remember, Pavi, the Colombian player from West Ham, also just got transferred to Toluca. So yeah, players are going to Mexico. Tune into Liga
This is
MX.
and I'll just echo something that Trev has said before. Like the NWSL needs to be careful. Like they could get left behind by Liga MX Femenil, not just because of what Liga MX Femenil is doing, but like their own nonsense, right? Where like actually you just kind of alluded to this with Gotham, right? They weren't the team that won that Champions League didn't that wasn't the same team as the team that competed in Champions Cup, and that is a function of the NWSL salary cap, right? Like this is how a salary cap league works. Like the whole point is that teams cannot really pay their players or all of their players past a certain point, so then they have to start making decisions on certain players. That's why you see a lot of turnover in NWSL. And so, like, that's going to make it difficult for NWSL teams individually to compete in these competitions. And it's going to make it difficult for NWSL teams to attract players, especially if they're not on this stupid subjective list. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that. But I just want to
Yeah.
say, like, NWSL needs to be careful about what's happening right now.
Right. Okay. Also, this is not WSL related. I was just scrolling, but I Catherine O'Hara died, and I'm distraught. One of my favorite
I saw
actresses.
that
Like,
earlier. Yeah,
sorry,
I
it's
saw that.
not soccer related, but I just had to like take a moment there. Like, okay, that's so sad.
Yeah,
I might after this need to have a Catherine O'Hara marathon. Go put on like the Home Alone's, Schitt's Creek.
Creek Creek, yeah.
I need some of that. My
Moira.
goodness. Yeah, exactly. We need to do okay. What team would Moira support? Which WSL team would Moira support?
I gotta think on that one. You gotta let me think on that one.
Okay, we'll come back to that. But we'll quickly preview what's happening this week. All matches are on Sunday. Most of them are going to be at 11:55 a.m. local time. We're starting with Everton at not at sorry Aston Villa at Everton at Goodison Park. Treb, you've got your prediction in there. What are you saying?
I'm sorry for which one? I'm sorry. I was like following up on
Aston Villa Everton.
Angel City stuff. Yeah, I think Aston Villa gets the win, 3-2. That's what I think. I just Everton are in a really bad spot right now. But I also feel like every time I choose Villa to win, they like lose. Every time I feel like this could be the time like Villa kind of kickstarts a run, they like lose 5-0. So maybe I've just given them the kiss of
Tom,
death, but
yeah. Tom has given us his predictions as well. He says 2-0 Villa and Brian Sorensen gets sacked after this match.
I do agree
We're on
there.
the
I
same
think if
page there.
Everton lose this match, I definitely think it's a situation of like, okay, you gotta go. At the very least, an announcement if they don't know, because I think that's also the problem a lot of WSL teams are facing right now, where it's like even if you fire a manager, it's kind of like unless you believe in someone in your system to be an interim, it's kind of just like we've reached that point of the season where it might just be best to bite the bullet and ride it out, right? Like if you're not playing, especially if you're not playing for anything, but they are playing to avoid that playoff spot. So like, but yeah, if they lose, I definitely agree with Tom on that.
Yeah. Mark, prediction? You're muted, Mark.
Sorry. No, what I said was Aston Villa have not lost two in a row in the league all year, and I think that continues. I'm gonna say 2-1 Villa, and I think this is Sorensen's final match.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna make it 4-4 on Villa wins.
Oh no.
I know. It's not good or bad. 0-2 is a good score line. I'm trying to think though. I think I might say 2-0 as well. I'll say 1-0 to be different. But still. I think Everton lose, and yeah, I think Sorensen. If he does, I'll be surprised if he does last. But I feel like there's going to be way more fan outrage and calls for him to
Yeah.
go if they don't get a result here.
Well,
especially at home.
I think it'll be one of those things where they'll be like, we plan on making changes at the end of the season. Just write it out.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh,
one of those like
I
unofficial
don't know. I mean, but
firings.
if they fall into relegation
yeah.
playoff spot,
I mean, you're not going to hire your permanent manager now anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
I
No, but I
Like I
still
said,
think you
unless you
could get an
believe an
interim.
interim
Yeah.
can actually like save you, unless you have someone in there that you feel like can be an interim and save you. But we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, then we have Brighton versus London City. This is at Broadfield Stadium. Tom has predicted a 2-1 Brighton win.
Interesting. Who's going to score the 2 goals for Brighton?
Treb, you have the opposite. You have 2-1 London City.
Yeah, I think London City is going to win this match. I feel especially confident after their performance against City. Like we've talked about, they were just really unlucky with finding the post
Yeah.
more than they found the back of the net. It might even be like 3-1 or more, but I definitely think they get the win on the road against Brighton.
I think I agree with you. I think it will either be a London City win or, at the very least, a draw. I don't think Brighton can get a win here. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with 2-0 London City.
I'm gonna say 2-2.
All right, gonna go for the draw. All right, then we have Man United versus Liverpool at Lee Sports Village. Let's see. Tom has 3-1 United.
Makes
I think that's a
sense.
fair guess.
I think this might be another one where we're all on the same page.
I'm gonna say 3-0 United.
Yeah.
3-0 United, okay.
I am going
And
with
then Trev, you got.
I'm going with the 4-2 United win. Uh yeah.
Okay.
I think Liverpool can maybe muster up a couple goals, but even saying it out loud, I don't feel as confident. I'm not gonna lie. I might change. Actually, let me
I'm gonna
change that
give
to four. Let me change it
United.
to 4-1. Let me change it to 4-1. I want
I
four
was
one.
just about to say that. I was like, I'm
Oh,
gonna give
were
them
you?
the same score that they did. Yeah, as last time. That's 4-1.
As I was talking out loud and
Um,
thinking about it, I was like, I don't know if they do actually
it's
because
like they
Fallon is
can't
starting to
score
find form
two.
again. Like they can't. They'll be looking to get one. So like, I'll give them the one. I'll do that. Yeah, 4-1.
Um, yeah. I was like, okay, we're all going for a United win. I'm just thinking, I'll do a different scoreline now. I'll do. I don't know. I
Just
was
say
like, can I
two
just go
nil.
two
Just say
nil?
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0, 2-0. Okay, then West Ham versus Tottenham at Chigwell Construction Stadium. Um, Tom's got 1-1 draw.
Oh, really?
Trev, you also have a draw.
Me and Tom are the same there. I have a 2-2 draw in this one.
I almost want to go 0-0. But
But
I'm like more confident in West Ham doing
I would say
anything
I
than
want
Tottenham.
West
So
Ham to
I
win
think
so bad. I would love
I
that.
kind of want to. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put West Ham to
Take the
win.
risk. Try to build the gap
Yeah,
even
because
further.
they're at Chigwell too. Uh,
That
That's
Chigwell
the
magic.
key.
That
The
Chigwell
power
yeah.
of the
magic.
Chig.
That Chigwell magic.
I'm gonna go 1-0 West Ham.
Damn, you took my score line.
Okay, I'll change. I was thinking or 2-1. I'll go 2-1 then.
I'm
Either way,
gonna
I
go
think they're
one
gonna
0
win. Okay.
West Ham, please win. That'd be funny. That would be funny. I
God,
listen.
I think I'm gonna watch that match
Hate
actually.
watch that
Yeah, I kind of
match
want.
for no
Oh,
reason.
it's
There's not even a
so
reason to
early.
hate watch Tottenham right now, but it would just be so funny.
Yeah, man. Well, listen,
Um,
I am miserable about my team. I want to hate watch
He's
another
just
team.
gone in fraud, bro. He's like, give me someone else being absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
okay. And then finally, Man City versus Chelsea is the big one. 2:30 p.m. local time at the Etihad. Yeah, of course Tom has City to not win. He's got a 2-2 draw.
I'm surprised he has them drawing.
I will go. I'll let Mark kind of
Interesting. Chad's got
pontificate.
Chelsea.
I think Chelsea are going to win 3-2. I think
Okay.
I just think that they're going to be so pissed about that Arsenal result, and they're going to know like it's do or die for their title. Like right, like I think even the fact that Sonia came
Yeah.
out right after that Arsenal loss and said it's over, and then backtracked it hard because someone probably told her don't be dumb, please don't be dumb, and say that publicly right now with 10 matches to go. But I think I think this they very much know they lose or even draw, like it's over. So
Mark?
Um, I'm gonna say, so if you take that match that they played a week ago, and played it 10 more times, City win that 3-1, and I think that's what's gonna happen. So 3-1 City.
wow.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, I
Mark
was
is
going to
trying the
say
Tom
mentally, how
theory.
does that last match factor in? I think, I feel like a draw actually is a good result. Are there going to be a lot of goals? Maybe. I'm going to go for a big scoreline. I'll go a 3-3 draw. Um, all right, then Arsenal versus Leicester was supposed to happen because of the FIFA Champions Cup. That one is postponed to a late date that I think has yet to be announced. And then, like we said, Champions Cup is also on Sunday. There's a third place match between AS FAR Rabat and Gotham that is at 2:45 p.m. local time, and then Arsenal versus Corinthians for the trophy at 6 p.m. local time. And I believe that one is are both at the Emirates.
They're
I
both at
think.
the Etihad, yeah,
Um,
or not the Emirates.
Emirates.
Tripping, tripping.
All right. Before we get out of here, real quick, Moira Rose's team. Which one would it be? As a
I f-
tribute to Catherine O'Hara, my immediate gut thought was Brighton, just because of the birds, like, and her whole gig with the crows. Not that Brightons are crows, but still.
No, I think you're right on with the bird theme. I mean,
I
with that
think
though, but the like Crystal Palace are the Eagles though, and that's an eagle.
Yeah.
I think I think she would probably be a London City supporter, and she would try to get in with Michelle Kang so she can use her private jet.
I love
Fair,
that.
fair.
Okay.
I'm going with deep. I'm on the Brighton. I'm on the Brighton. I'm on the Brighton.
All right. On that note, any last thoughts before we log off? It's been a long episode. All
Um,
good?
I think.
My
I
last
mean,
thought is Gotham should stop crying and focus on that third place match, and just enjoy the show. We're gonna lift the trophy. Like, just enjoy watching Arsenal lift the trophy and focus on your season starting in a month and a half. You've got bigger things to worry about
so good,
than Corinthians with how the
so good.
NWSL is shaping up right now. Focus on maintaining
Alrighty.
that eighth place spot, Gotham, and we'll focus on our Champions League.
The
Don't worry about
hate.
it.
The hate.
Also, I should full disclosure, for those who probably wouldn't know by now, but I also do cover Angel City in the NWSL, and there is very much a very real rivalry, East Coast West Coast rivalry between Angel City and Gotham. So some of this is an annoyance from that perspective. I will say it's not completely unbiased hate. There's some bias to it.
Hopefully, this doesn't go the same way the last East Coast West Coast rivalry went.
I hope not. I can't imagine anyone
It's
getting.
not that serious.
But it. Well,
Just to
listen.
be clear.
They listen. It's definitely not that serious. But Gotham definitely. There's real tension. These two teams, these two areas do not like each other. But it is what it is. Anyway, enjoy London.
It
It'll be
is what it
nice. You'll watch
is.
Arsenal win by 10, and you
What?
know you'll get over it.
All right. Thanks for staying with us this long. Make sure you say in the comments and whatnot what you think Moira Rose or any other Catherine O'Hara character, who she would support. Sorry, I'm just still hung up on that news. I loved her so much. But thank you
Hmm.
for listening. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that follow button to stay up to date when new episodes drop. Leave a rating and a review if you can. Interact with us on the socials. We'd love to hear your feedback. There are 12 teams, 6 matches, 4 hosts. You're listening to the 12. Enjoy the games this Sunday and see you next week.